This episode was brought to you in part by Ben Herritage, financial, investment, retirement, money management, and planning. And by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com, building on what matters to you.
Hey guys, I've got Ben Herritage here again with me today, and with Capital Financial Partners. Thanks again for being here. And you were going to talk about, I forget, what were you going to talk about today?
Investments.
Oh yeah.
That we've covered some topics, and investing comes up probably more frequently than everything else, because it is something that a lot of people have an interest in, but really have no working knowledge of.
Right.
You can have an MBA from one of the top business schools in the country and understand very little about investing. It is just something that's not taught. It is a very self-taught topic. I remember being in an economics class, and a professor made a joke about someone asking him some investment advice, and he said, "I understand economics, but I don't understand investment." It's just such a specialized thing that people kind of assume it's in the business world, and if you're in the business world, you understand it.
Right.
But investing is fundamentally something I do on a daily basis. I have a securities license. I have several securities licensing that allows me to legally give investment advice. It allows me to ask you questions, figure out what you want to do, and then make an investment recommendation to help you reach whatever goal you want to do. Mm-hmm. We invest for a lot of different reasons. We invest for our children's education. We invest for our retirement. We invest to go on vacations down the road. Investing is different for everybody. Commonly, people will say, "Oh, I've got a 401k." 401k is a very common employer-sponsored retirement plan. A lot of people will say that, and they have a different type of retirement plan. A 401k is kind of a buzzword. We all talk about aluminum foil in the kitchen, but it's a brand.
Right.
It's like Kleenex. If you want a tissue, you say, "Give me a Kleenex." It becomes a word that we just associate with that. Well, investing is a bigger topic than just your 401k through your employer. When I talk about investing with people, it comes back down to something I talk about a lot is goals and defining those goals. And well, what are we going to do with this dollar? Why are you investing it? What is the purpose of this dollar? Everybody has different purposes that they're trying to reach. Retirement is the common one. Yes. Retirement is something that we will all retire at some point, whether we like it or not. Right. It's going to happen. You want it to be on your terms.
Right.
Well, that's expensive. Life gets expensive. You could have a very long retirement, and the fear of outliving your money is a real fear people have. So when we're planning for retirement, we kind of break it down to the money you're going to need in 3 different decades. That first decade is, people will call it the most active part of your retirement. It's you want to explore your hobbies, you want to travel, you want to do all kinds of fun stuff. It's expensive. The second part is more of a supportive, inactive time in your life. That's where you start to introduce people that are doing services for you that you used to do on your own. You have someone doing your lawn, whereas you may have been a lawn person before. Well, you're starting to pay for those services. That gets expensive.
Right.
You may not be traveling as much. You may not be playing as much golf. You may not be boating as much, but you still have things in life that are there. The last time in your life is really just supportive. You're not doing much at all. And that can be the most expensive time in retirement. You're paying for some basic necessities, care. You may have to bring someone into your home. You may be paying for a facility. That gets really expensive. So saving for retirement a lot of times is scary because you don't know what it's going to be.
Right.
So when we talk about investing, we want to take a dollar and turn it into something more. We want that dollar to earn a yield or an interest rate or a dividend. We want that money to grow. So,
and there's more than just the stock market.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. And so a lot of people, when you think investing, they're thinking stocks, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Well, just right now with where interest rates are and what banks are offering, CDs are popular again. I've spent 20 years talking people out of CDs, and people love CDs right now because you can buy a CD that's paying you 5% or more.
Right.
That's very attractive. There's the bond market. There's real estate. There's businesses. There's all kinds of different investing you can do. Most of what I talk about with people is going to be stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, product-oriented investing. I have so many dollars. I want that to grow to be a larger pot of money.
Right.
Now, why investing is scary is because sometimes you get a statement and you have less in your account than what you started with. Right. That's not the right way to go. That's going backwards. Well, what you want to be thinking about it is when things are down, that's when I want to be investing more. I want to buy stuff on sale. I want to buy a share of something when I can buy more shares. Shares come back. The stock market over time always rebounds. Now, that's not guaranteed. And that not being guaranteed scares people. There are a lot of people who've had bad experiences with investing. And it kind of comes down to timing. It's when you bought something, you bought it at a high price. And when you sold it at a low price. So understanding how that works and understanding how stocks function, their price changes. Stock market's open 9:30 to 4, Monday through Friday, except for federal holidays. It's going to fluctuate.
Sure.
Right now, as we sit here, Disney stock is at a very low point. If I asked anybody on the street, I said, do you think Disney will be here in 5 years? Everybody would say, of course. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
It's Disney. It's Mickey Mouse. Everybody loves Mickey Mouse.
Right.
But getting into the stock scares a lot of people based on what has happened in recent history. And you could say the same thing about a lot of major corporations. Amazon, same thing. Amazon was at a price, maybe not a good time to get in. Or was it a good time to get in? Trying to figure that out is really where a financial advisor comes in.
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to, what is your goal? What are you trying to save for? Are you saving for retirement, college education, second home, third home, things like that? And then where do I need to invest those dollars to reach the goal? If your goal only means you need to earn 3% return on your money, well, that's a great goal. That's an easy return. If your goal says you need to earn 8%, that's a significant difference.
Right.
So understanding, can I be conservative and use these stocks, bonds, mutual funds and be very conservative with my money? Or do I need to take on more risk? Do I need to seek a higher return?
Yeah. And that's when it becomes really scary.
That's absolutely scary. This is not day trading.
No.
We're not talking about that. It's understanding that how a stock functions, how a bond functions. Stocks are an equity, bonds are a debt instrument. You are trying to do different things with different investments, but that's why we build portfolios. We don't, back to my Disney comment, we don't think, well, of course Disney's going to be better in 5 years. Well, we don't invest everything in Disney. What if we're wrong? So you have to have a portfolio that's balanced, that's meeting your short-term, your intermediate, and your long-term goals. So we may be buying this portion in stocks, or we may be buying this portion in bonds. And also, not all portfolios are created equally.
Yeah.
Different people invest in different things. There are clients of mine who are 85 years old. Their portfolios should look a lot differently than my 45-year-old clients.
Sure.
That's just how life works. How much risk you take on, what's an appropriate amount of risk, and understanding how to find that risk. I commonly tell people, if you open a statement in the mail or look at it online and at 2:00 in the morning, you wake up and you're worried about it, no, you're taking on too much risk.
Yeah.
Understand what's in your portfolio, understand when things are good, understand when things are bad, why are they good and bad, and understanding a little bit about what you own. I'm not asking people to be able to give me the PE ratio of this stock in their portfolio, but understand price and earnings and what some of those ratios do mean. And again, a lot of what a financial advisor is doing with a person is educating them on some of the basics of their portfolio and knowing enough about a client to say, hey, this is not meeting your needs anymore. Maybe we need to get out of this, or maybe we need to buy more of it, depending upon your goals.
Yeah.
So that's where really working with an advisor comes in. It's understanding that you as an individual have a goal. You're trying to accomplish that goal. you want that investment portfolio to do this.
Right.
And if it's not doing that, how do we make it pivot?
Yeah. Great advice. And it is true. I mean, there's so much that goes into that. Just that little portion of investing that, I mean, Joe Blow off the street like myself, there's no way to comprehend all that. You would absolutely have to have somebody like you.
You have to, and a lot of people try and do it themselves. And I have had people who have come to me and they said, I've been doing this myself for 20 or 30 years. I don't know that I need your services, but do you mind giving me a second opinion? I'm like, absolutely. Let's talk about why you did what you did and when you did it.
Right.
And I've had some people who had great portfolios. And I've had people come to me that said, my husband did this for 50 years for us. He's just passed.
Right.
I don't know what to do with the portfolio. He told me never sell anything. And I've looked at that portfolio and I said, Mrs. So-and-so, this is a great portfolio. Your husband did a great job for you. Just monitor it. It can be done. It's just really difficult to do. And it's the amount of time it takes. Where are you taking that time from? Do you want to spend all of your free time doing the research on your own?
That's right. Because it changes every day.
Absolutely.
Sometimes in hours.
And I've told people, like, the information I'm giving you is good for this moment.
Right.
This can and will change. Will it change tomorrow or will it change in 10 years? We don't know.
Right.
There are certain factors like, the pandemic. We're still hearing about that.
Right.
That's still fresh in all of our minds. Who would have thought that would have happened?
Right.
But it greatly affected
everything.
And in my world, the financial market, it greatly affected everything. Stock market went crazy, bad and good.
Right.
And it was such a big swing. There are a lot of financial advisors that I think were hiding under their desks during that time period because they didn't know what to tell people because we didn't know. And I think it's okay to say, we don't know what's going to happen. So here's where we have a plan in place.
Right.
And this is why we don't necessarily follow trends as much as blocking
and tackling.
Tried and true.
Yeah, the same with real estate. I mean, there's times we go,
what can you do?
I don't know. It's going to change tomorrow. And like you said, with the pandemic, we had the good and the bad, all over the place. And it is, you've got to look towards your experts to stay somewhere in the realm of where you're supposed to be, whether it be real estate or your financial health or whatever it is. But,
I don't like to follow trends in the markets, but you have to pay attention to them.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be the person who's recommending people do things just because of something changed that day. But I also want to make sure we pay attention to what has changed and what is changing and what trends are out there. You have to be aware of them.
Right.
Because sometimes trends turn into patterns. Right.
You're right. And the same, like I said, same with real estate. There's a lot of those overlap each other. But it's a fun world when everything changes on a daily.
Isn't it though?
Thank you so much again for being here, and I will see you soon, I'm sure.
Great. Thanks for having me.
This episode was brought to you in part by Ben Herritage, financial, investment, retirement, money management, and planning. And by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com, building on what matters to you.